Hi, you want to learn how to sew a rolled couture hem on a machine that is light, playful and gives a bit of a charming curve, the way Chanel used to do it? Then keep watching. First off, this video wouldn't have been possible if 2 years ago I didn't find a video of Kenneth the King, which I will kindly link below. Back in the days, I did my research and I found that if I want to achieve a hem as adequate to the couture way of sewing as when Chanel was emerging, was to use a so-called Pikot hem with a zigzag stitch on the machine. So let's dive right into the sews. I'm starting with a straight stitch at this length. To me, a game changer was that hemming foot, which I started using whenever I sew silk, just to help me with the moving fabric to stabilize it, additionally to my hand regulating. It looks as if I'm holding the fabric very decisive, but I am actually barely touching it. I am just slightly putting a little weight to help feeding it into the sewing foot, leaving it simultaneously to feed by itself on a natural path the silk will choose, but not taking any extreme curves. So the end straight stitch line is not completely straight, so let's correct the line by first marking very slightly, and I'm doing this using a regular pen where the natural continuation of the straight line would be. Then I'm taking the whole time in the world to very carefully and precisely adjust my initial drop of the needle. And I sew it by manually turning the sewing wheel of my machine, making slow stitches to make sure I go along the pre-drawn line we just did. Making small adjustments along the way, lifting the foot whenever needed. Again, no need for perfection, but in general making an effort to stay on the line. In the end, again, take your time to smoothly enter the previously made straight stitch. And here is how the corrected straight stitch line looks now. Great job! It is important now to snip all of the threads sticking out because later would be more difficult. And I am using here a curved up embroidery scissors to make sure I don't poke into the extremely delicate silk chiffon. Now comes the best part. At the length shown, I make a zigzag stitch which is going to result in our final hem. You see this fraying? It is a result of where my stitch line came close to 1 centimeter, so I encourage you to not come closer than that, and if possible try to keep staying at 1.5 or more, but to me it's a lot of lost fabric then, so I personally try to hold a good balance. If you came under 1 centimeter from the raw edge, there wouldn't be enough fabric to lock into the zigzag hem to make a nice rolled edge. It would be thinner at places, and we want to avoid such irregularities. And yes, I am sewing again, barely touching the fabric with my fingers, just letting it glide by itself, only guiding it not to take a sudden curve. Et voila! The only thing left now is to cut the excess fabric to end up with a beautiful, luxurious, high-end hem. Thank you for watching.